Alright.
Alrighty. So I'm Tiana Yorka,
And I'm Clary St. Fleur.
and we're going to be discussing our progress report for our pitch. So we decided to go with our first pitch, um, and
which
yeah, go right
which
ahead.
was it was our first pitch was the unknown. So we
Mhm.
decided to adjust the name to the Journey of the Spirit so it can match the storyline a bit better. So our group decided with this new name to make it like pop out a bit more.
Yeah, so that was one of the critiques that we had when we submitted our pitch was maybe changing the name because it really didn't fit our show, and we kind of agreed with that. We also there was some other areas of like improval that we had been discussing, and one of those is describing how our show is revolutionary. So that's something that we're going to be focusing on this next week. Um, and
I,
then,
I think the basis of our like revolutionary um topic while we're trying to discuss why our show is revolutionary to the medium of television is mostly for me, I think on the basis of people can relate to being children of immigrants or first generation like myself. I know my parents who have come from another country in Haiti. They tell me all the time of what it was like to get over to the States and just to create a new life. So even if it's not people from Cuban descent, we can all kind of relate from our own background, from where our families might have come from.
absolutely. Um, while we were going through our pitch PowerPoint, we kind of artist already started picking up on some things that we um, were kind of needing to change. So we've been discussing that. Some of them being just like characters and, age ranges, how that would all work when selecting cast. As well as really kind of just looking at some points in the arc of the season and having to develop some areas for the characters and for like reconnections and things like that. And just also developing our genres. We've been discussing how we're going to kind of broaden them and, elaborate a little bit more.
I think
Uh,
another one of our issues was trying to establish what era this is taking place in, whether it's like maybe in the 90s and the 80s or something, or maybe something in like more like 2015-ish. I think that's the hardest part for us because we want it to be historically relevant to the wet foot, dry foot policy that came about. But we also just want to make sure that the storyline falls in sync with that entire history.
absolutely. So next we're gonna just kind of talk about all of our teammates and what roles we're going to be taking on for our final pitch. I'll go ahead and read Carrie's and mine. So Carrie's going to do part three, which is basically the storyboard. She's already been working on that, and she showed us some of the storyboard pieces already, and she's going to really help us bring you know a general idea of what our first episode is going to look like. I'll be taking care of part four, which is the series premiere poster, and part five, which is the casting and directing.
I kind of want to treat your part, Tiana, as like the hook of like
Mhm.
our entire show because most people they want to see the front cover and they're like, what is this about? Like, oh, that looks really interesting. So I think our front cover is very um it says a lot to me because I'm looking at it, I was like, oh wow, this looks very mystical. Something's happening here. I we don't really depict a lot of emotion. It's just like this spark that's going on, and I really like that. For me, on my part, I'll be taking care of the justification letter. This to me serves like as a method to like convince like our production company that our show is gonna be great, and we are gonna make these ratings go up. And also, I wanted to go over Kayla's part. She was gonna do the part two, which was the script, and the part six, which was the soundtrack, which I think does a lot. Sound music will take you really far because I remember when I went to go watch Black Panther, it was just the whole thing with I just enjoyed it. the music made stuck with me, and I was like, oh wow, this scene is intense, or this is going on right now. But the script part, we're just still trying to organize the portion of what characters are gonna say what, and also the setting, which is
Yeah.
still a lot.
Yeah, massive undertaking, but I think if we just all, communicate and share our ideas with each other, it's gonna make it all flow really nicely. And definitely, like, even though we have our specific roles, just kind of like helping each other out in, like the soundtrack and in the script, because I'm sure you have great ideas for like music.
Mhm.
I don't know what I could bring to the music, but I might have some ideas
We could be
like
able to
that.
like bring some like more Hispanic music, something that's really
Yes,
just
yes,
gonna
yes,
make like on the run music, or something that's just like
yes.
very relaxed, mellow. So I do look forward to seeing what the soundtrack might look like.
For sure. And then on our the rest of our sheet, we kind of just went through a little bit of a timeline, and as well as like just our concerns and what we're planning to do. So yeah, I think we're all done for today.
And that, and
Thank you.
yes,
Thank you.
indeed.
All right, how do I pause it? Give me one moment.